Buen Camino, good morning. I am in Puente la Reina right now. Just left the Albergue Estrella Guia. It was so beautiful and so calm, owned by a Brazilian family that have had it for many, many, many years. I'm going to give a better update, I think in the afternoon. But for now, I'd like you all to see this incredible bridge that I'm going to cross as we leave town. The goal today is to head to Estrella. I think that's about 16 miles, but I'm not sure. Again, I'm not trying to get hung up on whatever the mileage is. And here's the reason why, is because, oh, look at this bridge, wow. Because I'm at the point now where last night was the last reservation, the pre-booking that I had made. And now I'm going to be playing it a little bit more by ear. That is to say, I'm going to walk until I feel like I want to stop. Look at this. I'm going to get up to this top of this beautiful bridge and then give you a 360 view. So I'm going to be kind of freewheeling it a little bit. There's a little bit of anxiety that comes with that decision because today's Friday for me right now, Saturday for me right now, and starting tomorrow is Holy Week in this region of Spain. And then I think the Holy Week is a little bit different for the next region of Spain, which is the next one I'm going to be in. So we'll see. I think that's a heron. Pretty incredible. Anyway, I went and had some dinner with my new friends from the Netherlands. They're finishing their walk tomorrow, so I won't see them anymore. And then as they were getting ready to leave, a couple other pilgrims came by. One of them I stayed with the first night in Saint Jean. His name was John, lovely gentleman, and a gentleman named Alex from Brazil. And I'd met him a couple days ago. So it's funny how I'm in this kind of group of people and everybody's traveling at their own pace, but we all see each other all over the place. And yesterday was the first time, I met another guy from Colorado that I had not yet met. And I introduced, we gave our names and he said, "Oh, you're Joe from Denver." I said, where have you heard of me? He's like, "Well, I've heard people talking about you." I was like, "Is that a good thing or a bad thing?" But I get the feeling that that's how it's going to go. As long as everybody, people will fall off, people will move ahead. It is what it is. So maybe, I don't know. I'm just aware that that's what I notice right now. And we'll see how it plays out over the span of 5 weeks instead of 5 days. What else? Just incredible. My body feels good. This is really good for my mind. Continuing to lose weight, but I don't feel like it's weakening me. So I think that's probably a good thing for my health. And I think I'm finally getting into the rhythm of it. And that's the update for now. I'm gonna walk, following these pilgrims, and we'll see how the day goes. Buen Camino. Buenas tardes from the Camino. This is, I don't think I mentioned it this morning. This is day 5 for me. The city that is next in my view is named Estella, and it's at the typical stopping stage in one of the most popular Camino guides. I don't know if I'm going to stop there or not. I just wanted to mention it so that I remembered where I was. Originally I wanted to do morning updates and maybe some thoughts in the afternoon or evening. I need to get better at it. I'm still practicing. So here's my thoughts so far. It's hard to describe the experience. I had some expectations, even though I didn't want to. And oh, look at this guy. Hola, buen día. Hola, perro. Boy, the people in Spain are just absolutely lovely to us peregrinos. A couple things I've noticed. Super broad representation, of course, all over the world. I've met people from not everywhere, but so many places that it wouldn't even be worth me trying to remember and mention them now. The sense of community and helpfulness is remarkable. Almost every conversation so far has eventually turned to the topic of American politics and what's happening in America. And I think that's because we're a global leader, and so it really does impact everybody. So for the first couple days, every time I met someone that wasn't from the United States, I felt the need to apologize for what's happening because I'm ashamed. I've done away with that. No more apologies. And a good friend of mine suggested that maybe I give it a little bit of time, a couple weeks, so that everybody kind of gets it out of their system as we get to know each other, and then, you know, come up with a nice polite way of saying, this causes me frustration and stress, and that's not why I'm here, and so I would prefer not to talk about it. You know, and if it's a group of people at dinner or something, I can't tell everybody not to talk about a thing, but if it's maybe a one-on-one conversation, I can redirect it or remove myself from the situation. The impetus is on me to control my engagement. I've noticed there are a lot of Americans and quite a few people from Colorado. And for the most part, everybody, Americans and beyond, have been fantastic and pleasant. I don't think I've met a single really unpleasant person, but there are a couple people that I've met who have a way of communicating that I don't prefer. And maybe this is an opportunity for me to practice my strategies for redirecting conversations to be more constructive. Those are a couple thoughts. Very lucky on the weather so far. I mean, you can see there's some clouds coming in. Who knows if it will rain or not. I'm prepared for it if it does. I hope it doesn't. But I think I have to embrace the fact that sooner or later it will. I've noticed that I'm drinking too much in the evenings. And it's not a coping mechanism or anything. It's more of a joyous celebration with so many people that want to have drinks. I've not been, except for the bus ride over the Pyrenees from Pamplona to Saint-Jean, it hasn't been a deficit for me, but I don't want it to be. I need to be more mindful and maybe maybe not create a limit for myself, but be hyper aware, or at least more aware, and make better decisions so that morning Joe is not upset at evening Joe. Yeah, those are my thoughts. This is a really special experience. It's beautiful. Everybody's so great. The hospitaleros that run albergues are generally fantastic. The places are nice. Every day is different, but every day is kind of the same. I'm practicing my Spanish, which is really cool. I'm trying to learn a little bit more every day, and when I meet somebody who is a Spanish speaker, I'm trying to at least become a little bit more conversational. I can communicate the basic needs in Spanish, but I certainly can't hold a conversation. I don't think I'll be able to after this 6 weeks, but with any luck and a little bit of practice, maybe I'll become more comfortable. That would be cool. I'd like that. I got on a scale yesterday at the albergue, and I was shocked at what I saw. If anybody's watching this that didn't follow a previous series that I did, I went to Portugal with my wife about 6 or 7 months ago to walk the Portuguese Camino. We had 12 days scheduled to do so, and everything was going really well for me. My body was feeling good. I was into the rhythm. It wasn't the same kind of experience as this. I think her and I kept to ourselves a little bit more. We tended to lean towards a different kind of accommodation, and I think the Pilgrim culture is a little bit different. At least that's my own limited experience. But on day 8 of day 12, I was feeling really bad at the end of the day. Decided to take a rest day in Redondela. That turned into 2 rest days. Severe fever, really bad stomach situations, aches, pains, absolutely no appetite. And after that second day, I was still feeling poor enough that it was a little startling to me. And we went into a doctor, to a clinic. They saw me. He said, "You got to go to the hospital." Went to the hospital in Vigo, Spain, the regional hospital. They did a CT scan, abdominal CT scan, and determined that I had diverticulitis, which is an inflammation of the digestive tract. You get these little pockets. Maybe something gets in there. It gets agitated, inflamed, and then in my case, an infection set in. And this can be really, really bad because, say the little pouch that's inflamed and infected, if it bursts, then your digestive system leaks into your stomach cavity, and that can lead to sepsis and then death. It's very dangerous. So when I was admitted to the hospital, I was admitted to the surgical wing, and our first strategy to deal with my situation was a ton of antibiotics and no food, and then we would see what happened. That turned into a 5-day hospital stay, and we were able to manage it. Luckily, we were able to avoid surgery. Ooh, I love all these tunnels we go through. It's pretty cool. And it ended my Camino. I know the lighting's not going to be good in here. So, all of that having been said, it's the reason I felt like I had failed at the thing I set out to do, and if it weren't for that, I probably wouldn't be here right now. So maybe things happen for a reason, or maybe that's all right. Maybe that's a coping mechanism that we have to deal with disappointment and turn it into a positive eventually. I'm not sure. But I hope something tragic doesn't happen to me this time. I'm really enjoying myself. It's me sharing a little bit. Anyway, I'm gonna get to this town, sit down, have a nice lunch, I think, and we'll see if I'm gonna push on or if I'm gonna try to find a place to stay. Buen camino. Hello, buen camino. Popping in to record another observation that I forgot to mention earlier. I started getting there and then I got sidetracked, but I'm a bit surprised by how easy it is to meet people and instantly have deep and thoughtful conversations as we all try to understand ourselves and each other. We're all kind of in this thing together, doing it for our own separate reasons and our own separate ways, but there's this energy that I was not expecting. At least I was expecting something like it, but the way it's turning out is much different and likely much better than what I thought it would be. And I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because some of these people, most of them, you'll probably never meet again after this experience, and you really don't even know if you'll ever see them again day by day. But there's this openness and vulnerability and maybe a shared mission or a shared hope. And I think we all understand that we have to support each other, so there's a lot of kindness and sharing and thoughtfulness among the pilgrims. Not everybody and not in all cases, but generally speaking. And it's really nice. I spent most of the time walking by myself, but I've spent plenty of time walking with others and talking, and certainly hanging out around the breakfast table or the dinner table or lunch or whatever. Yeah, I just wanted to capture that. It's somewhat remarkable, and again, I don't think there's really words to describe it that can convey what the true experience is. And anyway, let's hope we get a bed. It's just past noon now. I've already put in 12 miles. So I don't know, maybe I'll stop at the typical stage end, or maybe I'll continue on. It's going to be weather dependent, and certainly it'll be dependent on the availability of the albergues. And another thing that, it's not an observation, but just kind of a thought a lot of us pilgrims that I've been talking to have been having, and I think I was starting to get there, and again I got sidetracked in my recording this morning, is that a lot of the Spanish people take Easter week to walk. So there's an unknown that we're all chattering about for those of us who have not booked accommodations ahead for the next week or even week and a half. This question of, will it be a problem? I know there's a bunch of strategies to deal with it. But if I stay on my milestone schedule, my benchmark schedule, my baseline, if I stay on that, I should be in or very close to Burgos, which everybody says is one of the most fantastic cities on the French Camino. And everybody seems to suggest that if you're going to take a rest day to fully enjoy a city, that's probably the number one response that I hear when I ask that question. Okay, that's it. Bye, Camino. Hola, ¿qué tal? Buen camino. So, a little afternoon update. I did end up going past the traditional stage. I did about another 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers afterwards. And I'm staying in this municipal albergue. I just walked in with no reservation and it worked out fine. The reason I decided to continue going is because A, I had energy and it was a little early in the day, but B, there is a place along the Camino, one of the next cities or places you get to, which is quite famous, and it's a wine fountain. It's a monastery that makes wine, and they provide free wine for pilgrims. So there's literally a fountain where you can go and I think tradition is to drink a little bit. I would like to get up there to watch the sunrise if possible. So I thought, it's early in the day, I still got energy, I'm gonna push forward, and then I don't have to get up and start walking so early tomorrow. That's the update. No food here tonight. I'm gonna have to go up the street to a restaurant, and there's some folks here from New Zealand I've met before. I just made friends with a gentleman from Singapore and a gentleman from Estonia. So maybe we'll all have dinner together. Don't know. Yeah, great day. Got showered, did my laundry, stretched it out, made my bed. I'm ready to chill. I hope I'm gonna have some time to edit a few of the days that I'm behind in this whole process, and then I'll start putting them online. So yeah, good day. Buen camino.